Hi everyone, and welcome back to Timbs Tech Talk with my awesome Horror House Media shirt. Which, if you haven't gotten yourself one, what are you doing? Go to my shop right now, streamlabs.com/themerciful-doctor, and get yourself one of these shirts. Yes, the Merciful Doctor, that's what I'm going to go by now, from now on, is going to talk about crazy tech news that broke not too long ago. So why don't we go ahead and we talk about it here. The first one coming from The Verge, and The Verge has got a couple of articles that are great articles, as you can see here. First one talks about a judge just blew up Apple's control of the App Store. A judge in the Epic versus Apple the Epic versus Apple lawsuit has banned Apple from charging a commission on purchases made outside of the App Store because it's an ongoing anti-competitive behavior. Written by Jay Peters, which is a news editor covering technology and everything for 2 years. Nice, congratulations. I read a little bit of this article. It's pretty well written. It's got some great parts in it. So let's go ahead and discuss it. It goes, Epic versus Games judge Gonzalez Rogers, or I'm going to call him my Judge Rogers, just ruled that effective immediately, Apple is no longer allowed to collect fees on purchases made outside of the apps and blocks the company from restricting how developers can point users to where they can make purchases outside of the App Store. Apple says it will appeal the order. The ruling was issued as part of Epic Games' ongoing legal dispute against Apple, which is a major victory for Epic's arguments. Rogers also said that Apple willingly chose not to comply with her previous injunction from the original 2021 ruling that Apple, through the court, will tolerate such insubordination was a gross miscalculation, Rogers says. As Rogers says, the judge also referred to the case to the U.S. attorney to review for possible criminal contempt proceedings. Ooh, Apple's done fucked up big time. As part of the ruling, the judge says Apple cannot impose any commission or any fee on purchases that consumers make outside of the App Store, on any app, restricts developers' style, formatting, or placement of links for purchases outside of the app or the App Store, blocks or limited the use of buttons or other calls to actions, interference with consumers' choice to leave an app with anything beyond a neutral message praising users that they are going to a third-party website. So what this basically means here is that they cannot force the first one basically states that they cannot force companies to pay them any sort of the App Store fees that they would normally have to pay if they chose to go outside of the App Store in order to pay for, say, a subscription to Peacock, for example, or like me for like a subscription to YouTube Premium. Like, I could get it cheaper now, technically speaking, if I was to go through Google directly instead of having to do it through the App Store. I choose to do it through the App Store because it's easier for me to manage all my subscriptions in one area without having to use a third-party vendor or provider, which is nice. Double checking to make sure I turn my microphone on, because I would hate to have not being recording my voice and not bothering to and it just not working. That would suck. As restrict developer style, formatting, and placement of links for purchases. Basically, Apple can't tell them you're not allowed to do this or use this formatting or this style font, or like you have to place the link like at the bottom right here with a very small corner of it where it says you can go. Like, no, they can boldly put it in front of you as they see fit for the links to get and purchase subscriptions outside of the App Store. Block or limit the use of buttons or calls to action. Basically saying if let's say Peacock says, hey, you want to subscribe to us outside the App Store and get a 30% off or something like that, click this big button right here in front of you to go do that. Apple can't stop them from doing that. Interferes with consumers' choice of leaving. basically, if you go to click the link, Apple cannot block the website or reroute the website back to the App Store. No, it has to open up in your browser of choice, whatever browser you use, which are all pretty much the same thing because they all use WebKit anyhow. Because at least for the US, now if you're in the European Union, that's a different story. You do have the actual Chrome browser on your iPhone if you have Chrome, for example, or Brave. To get back to it, I think honestly this is a major win. This is a major fucking win for the consumers, because as much as I love Apple's products, I love their setup and everything, the company is being very bully-like and very anti-competitive. So I'm glad to see that Apple's being taken to task about that. But of course, as Apple as always replies back with, and so Apple's senior director of corporate communications, Olivia Dalton, sent a statement to The Verge that reads, quote, "We strongly disagree with the decision. We will comply with the court's order and we will appeal," end quote. So for right now, you're going to get that. So if you want to take advantage of it, I would suggest you take advantage of it now. Meanwhile, Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney says that following this ruling, that the company will bring Fortnite back to the US App Store next week. Sweeney also is offering a peace proposal from Epic with the quote saying, "If Apple extends the court's friction-free, Apple's tax-free framework worldwide, we will return Fortnite to the App Store worldwide, drop current and any future litigation on the topic," end quote. And that's basically what the tweet says. And this right here with him saying, "No fees on web transactions, game over for the Apple tax." Since Apple's 13 to 15 to 30% junk fees are now just as dead here in the United States as they were in Europe under the Digital Markets Act. Unlawful here, unlawful there. 4 years, 4 months, and 17 days. Epic wins. Apple just got felted so hard. So hard. But it continues on and saying, "In many cases, Apple takes 30% of the cut of purchases made in its App Store. And Gonzalez Rogers in 2021 ruling forced Apple to allow developers to appoint an alternative payment methods. But Apple instituted a policy that demands developers to pay Apple a 27% commission on those purchases, which many companies, including Epic, were very unhappy about for obvious reasons." With a quote from CFO Lieutenant Mascara, I apologize if I butchered your name, says, quote, "In the end, Apple sought to maintain a revenue stream worth billions of dollars in direct defiance of this court's injunction." Rodriguez says she notes that inside Apple, the App Store chief, Phil Schiller, Schiller, advocated for the company to comply with the injunction, but that CEO Tim Cook chose poorly by ignoring Phil and letting CFO Gutierrez convince him otherwise. Felt it. And that's page 1 of. So this is the lawsuit itself. If you wish to read that, I'll try to remember to post that in the links below. But if that wasn't bad enough for Apple, that wasn't bad enough, we got another thing about Apple we got to read. So right here, it goes, "Apple sends a serious warning to iPhone users in 100 countries. Oh my, what the fuck happened? But before we read that, I just want to give my thoughts on this real quick. And here are my thoughts on Apple versus Epic. I originally was in favor of Apple. I believe that Apple deserves a cut of pay, because they're hosting the websites. They're the ones running the server and everything. They're the ones maintaining the platform that you're posting your apps on and everything. So I think Apple deserves a reasonable amount of money. I think 15% is pretty reasonable. However, I do not think that they should be charging a commission. However, I think it should just be, I think what they should do, in my opinion, is charge developers for a license to develop on the platform and just charge it as a yearly fee. There you go. That's how you make your money back. And just advertise your services better and just make your platform better. Make your platform more accessible, make it better, make it cheap for people to become a developer on, work with developers. You'll make more money in the long term. Sure, you might take an initial hit, but in the long term, if you get more developers on your side and you show people why Apple products are more superior to Android, even though they may not necessarily have better technical aspects than Android phones, if you can show that what we do on our products with the less physical hardware is better, is on par, if not better, than with the hardware that is supposed to be superior to us, then you'll give Google and a lot of Steam and a lot of other places a run for their fucking money. And that's what you need to do, is get developers on your side. And you have an opportunity right now at Epic to make that happen. So if I was in Tim Cook's ear, I'd tell him right now, cut a fucking deal with them. Cut a big ass deal with them. Get them on as one of your major developers and push hard with them. I would push so hard with them. Because if you can get Epic on your side and get them to want to advertise your hardware better than anything that Windows or Linux or Android could do with Google, then I guarantee you Apple could win. They could win this gaming war. They could take on Nintendo and win. Like, that's the kind of thing they could do if they were just willing to cut a deal. But we'll see what happens there. Right now, I'm going to take a big old swig of my Dr. Pepper, and we're going to move to the next article. Because again, Apple can't just take one loss. So why not add? So let's bring up another loss for Apple, because here comes Pegasus once again. Like, holy shit. So Apple is warning that iPhone users in 100 countries that their handsets may be carrying spyware. And this was written by Alan Friedman. Or Friedman, maybe Friedman, might be Friedman, who cares? Either way, he did a great job with this article. It states that Apple says that an alert is a serious matter and implies that the spyware is the infamous Pegasus developed by the Israeli cyber armies company, the NSO Group. The latter sells the spyware to governments, allowing them to spy on and steal personal data kept on iPhones. Journalists, political rivals, and lawyers, and others, etc., etc. The cat and mouse game between Apple and the NSO Group continues. In 2021, Apple created a threat notifications created to alert iPhone users attacked by the state-sponsored attackers. These attackers go after a smaller group of targets, both individuals and devices. As a result, it becomes harder to discover such attacks and prevent the potential victims from becoming victims, obviously. Those considered potential victims by Apple will receive an iMessage and an email and are notified on the Apple ID website. So as of yesterday, a published report notes that 2 iPhone users have come forward to say that they received a alert from Apple. One is I apologize for that. I'm going to try to not butcher these people's names. Let's see. Here we go. That's why I like speech today.
Ciro Pellegrino,
an Italian journalist who writes for fanpage.it.brig. Oh, okay, I see, because it has a dot right there. Fanpage.it. Rigo wrote that he received an email and a text message from Apple telling him that his iPhone was infected with spyware. Rigo says in his article that Apple revealed that the notification was sent to users in 100 countries. The Eva Valar right there says, yesterday I got a verified threat notification from Apple stating that they detected a mercenary spyware attack against my iPhone. We were talking spyware like Pegasus. All I know for sure right now is that someone's trying to intimidate me. I have a message for him. It won't work. So let's go ahead and watch this real quick. I'm curious to see what she has to say. I thought I wasn't going to react to a video, but here we are. Go ahead and play it.
Hi everyone. So yesterday I got 2 messages from Apple stating that they detected a mercenary spyware attack against my iPhone. First I thought it was fake. I got 2 of these messages and I thought it's probably not real. But upon further research, it turns out that these messages actually are real. And so that this is actually happening. And in the message they say that this targeted mercenary spyware attack is probably happening because of who I am and what I do. And then they continue to say that mercenary spyware attacks, such as Pegasus, for example, are exceptionally rare and that they're extremely sophisticated. They use really strong words. They're saying that the extreme cost, sophistication, and worldwide nature of mercenary spyware attacks makes some of the most advanced digital threats in existence today. And they're sending this to me because they've detected that it's going on against my iPhone. So this is real. Obviously, I don't know for sure if any of that spyware has been installed on my phone. I definitely don't know who did it. So this could be anyone. This could be, name a government that doesn't like me. This could be any organization that doesn't like me. Secret services, you name it. But what I do.
So that's crazy to me. And I just received some extra information about some other stuff I've been covering recently. So that's why I was reading my messages. Let's see. Anyways, that's besides the point. Get back to this. This is absolutely crazy and insane. This is clearly targeting attacks. That something needs to be done about that. Something clearly needs to be done about that. Well, let's continue on with the article. Was the second recipient of this warning told the public about receiving Apple's notification? Yeah, obviously she talked about it with Apple saying take it seriously. So we get to hear what Apple says what you should do. It recommends that those who receive this alert enable lockdown mode by going to settings, privacy, and hit lockdown mode. Apple states that the features turn on seconds and offers the strongest protection for users like you or individually targeted by the most sophisticated threats. Goes, oh yeah, that would be awesome to see an iPhone built in the United States. But anyhow, so there you go. That's crazy to me. It's absolutely insane. The fact that that's happening, this is why we in the cybersecurity world say that nothing is bulletproof. It don't matter how much you lock your shit down and how much you do this or you do that, everyone is hackable. So always stay vigilant, always be careful what links you click, what videos or files you download. Double check every fucking thing. And I recommend a great website to do that on. 2 great websites actually is any.run. If you're a cybersecurity analyst, that's a great website. Go to it, go use that. It's a great tool. And the other one is Virus Total. That's for anyone in general to use. I love it. I use that website all the time to verify files that I'm downloading. Unless it's from a friend of mine that I know personally, if I need to vet something, I can just go to virustotal.com and vet it there. Now, it's not always going to be 100%, but it's about 95% of the time correct. So don't worry. For the most part, if it doesn't ring up as a virus, there's a good chance that it's not a virus. But again, always be cautious, be careful. And if you're running a PC, it is logical to run an antivirus alongside Windows Defender, just in case Windows Defender gets deactivated or say something catches it off guard. With macOS, you have 3 different antiviruses running at all times, so you don't really need one as long as you're pretty smart about what you download. Like me, I run macOS, so I'm not too worried about it, but again, be smart about what you're downloading. And if you're running Linux, then you really got nothing to worry about. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, the same logic from Apple applies to Linux, applies to Windows. As long as you're careful what you're doing, you'll be perfectly fine. But and obviously follow and anytime you get a warning like Apple says, like for your iPhone, please follow the instructions. Because Apple will obviously not only send it to you through an iMessage, you will get an email and it will put it on your account. So you will get verification that it is coming directly from Apple and not from the hackers who are trying to get you. So with that also being said, be aware of suspicious emails or text messages that say you've been compromised. Always double check and verify. Don't just believe the text message or the call or anything like that, because that is a great way for you to get compromised. But now we're going to move on to some gaming news, shall we? This final one here is just because if Nintendo wasn't bad enough, as if Microsoft wasn't, Sony wasn't bad enough, Microsoft jumps in on the let's fuck you over on the game prices. So on ABC News today, Xbox raises prices on consoles, controllers, and headsets due to, quote, market conditions, end quote. Xbox says it also plans to raise prices for some games during this holiday season. Of fucking course they are. This is written by Angela Yang. Credit to her. She did a phenomenal job with this. The article states gamers will have to shell out more money now for Xbox consoles and controllers amidst the sweeping global tariffs that have caused prices to rise for American consumers. It's those fucking tariffs. Motherfucker can't get away from them. Fucking hell. The Microsoft-owned video game platform announced Thursday that it is adjusted to recommended retail prices for Xbox consoles and controllers worldwide and is prepared to raise prices for some games as well. Son of a bitch. Those fucking tariffs. Every time with those fucking tariffs. And it gets worse because from Microsoft, quote, we understand these changes are challenging and that they were made with careful consideration given the market conditions and the rising cost of development, the company wrote in an announcement. And goes, quote, looking ahead, we are continuing to focus on offering more ways to play video games across any screen and ensure the value for Xbox players, end quote. Oh my god. Oh my god, the fucking tariffs. This is total bullshit. This is total bullshit. This is why it's bullshit. Because the game Expedition 33 was developed in 2 years by a small indie development team and selling for $50. And it's making fucking bank. So I don't fucking buy this bullshit. I don't buy this. I don't fucking buy this for a second. But let's continue reading the article. The expected price for the Xbox Series X console has been up from $499 to $599. Great, $600 plus tax. According to the updated price recommendations for the United States. The Series X Digital is now $549.99. Great. That's fucking great. Without a disc drive, it's fucking, you get the $50 off. That's it. Oh my god. But if you want the Series X2, my Galaxy Special Edition, it will cost $730. What the fuck? Why would I pay that for that shit? And the prices for the Xbox Series S console have increased $80 to $379. What the fuck for the 512 gigabyte? For half a terabyte version? You're paying over $400 for that shit? What the fuck? And the 1 terabyte model is $430, so that ain't better. In this announcement, Xbox said that the availability of Series X and X consoles may continue to fluctuate over time depending on the country and individuals, retailers. Oh my god, they want to fish you for those price tags. Wow. Fuck this. This is bullshit. This is total bullshit. Those wireless controllers are will also now start at $64.99, so fucking $70 a controller for the base controller. On $200 with prices up to $200. What in the fuck are you charging for? What are you charging for? A brand new fucking car? You must be charging for a fucking brand new fucking car for that kind of price tag. That's bullshit. That is total bullshit. Oh my god. And including the adaptive controller and the adaptive joystick will cost the same as before. Great. Price hikes for the Xbox headset, however, affected only in the United States and Canada. What the fuck? According to the company, those are now priced at $65 for the stereo headsets or $119, so $120 for the fucking Bluetooth ones. That's great. While the prices for existing games remain the same, Xbox says it plans to raise prices for some of its new first-party games to $80 this holiday season. Fuck that. Fuck that noise. Fuck all of that. Fuck all that. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. Just total bullshit. That's total bullshit. Why the fuck do I need to pay fucking outrageous price tags for fucking one video game? I think I'm only getting one fucking video game. What the fuck? That's not. Why is anyone okay with this? Why? I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get this. This is insane. This is unreasonable. And I don't understand why anybody be okay with this. I am just at a loss for fucking words at this point. I'm like fucking just like I'm pulling up a YouTube video that I'm going to play and then we're going to react to because I just thought about it. We're going to react to it real quick. And Abe Eric posted his not too long ago. He's the worst selling console is now just got more expensive. Genius. Yeah, it's really fucking genius to just fucking you over at this point. You're getting nothing for a fuck ton of money. Oh, and apparently it's the market conditions. Such bullshit. Such bullshit. That is such bullshit. Oh my god. Here we go. And here's the video. So we're gonna react to it shortly. But first, I want to finish reading the article here. Like I'm fucking mind blown at this point. So we go back to the article. It goes, well, prices. Oh, I already read that. It goes, quote, local pricing may differ across countries and platforms. A spokesperson for Microsoft wrote an email continuing saying, these differences reflect regional considerations, including foreign exchange rates and market conditions, end quote. As the changes stirred from some frustration within the gaming community Thursday after Nintendo also raised the prices of some of the games to $80. It was actually $90. And it goes simultaneously, Nintendo later announced while the price of its Switch 2 will remain unchanged at launch, accessories on the console will be subject to price adjustments due to changes in market conditions. Bullshit. Beyond video games, the tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump have threatened to raise prices in a wide variety of goods, from cars to coffee to fireworks. Businesses have begun issuing warnings about its tariff impacts on company profits as well as consumer expenses. Online retail giants like Amazon, Temu, and Sherman, the latter of the two, which are Chinese e-commerce platforms and known for ultra-low prices, also indicated that they would pass on the price adjustments to the consumer as a result of the tariffs. These tariffs are fucking bullshit. This is bullshit. But if you don't believe me and you think that maybe he's doing the right thing by charging tariffs, let's react to a gentleman who has some opinions of his own on this.
You know what I hate? I hate being treated like I'm a fucking idiot. You know what I hate? You know what I hate? I hate when companies greedily raise their prices for no fucking reason. You know what else I hate? I hate the fact that Xbox is raising their gaming prices to $80. They're
So
raising
bullshit.
the price of the Xbox Series X to $600. They're raising their 2 terabyte model, digital only, to like $740 fucking dollars. The accessories are going up. Guarantee book it now. Game Pass will go up in price.
Yep.
It's so fucking ridiculous. And you want to know something? The elephant in the room, too, is Donald Trump, who put the tariffs in place and totally fucked us. I was a gamer, but I also voted for Trump. And you know what? I regret every goddamn fucking time I voted for him now. Because now we're going to pay up the fucking ass for games. And these greedy companies are going to charge us more for fucking the same game we would have gotten for $70 just recently. This isn't a new generation. We're still in the middle of a console generation that barely feels like it's fucking started.
And that's what I'm talking about here.
And we're expecting to pay more. We already went from 60 to 70. We're up to 80. Why?
And that's what I'm talking about here. And that's the ultimate problem with this whole situation. Is that now everything's too expensive. Everything is too, like, here's the thing. I voted for Trump, and I'll admit to that. And the reason I voted for Trump was because I voted for Elon Musk and a few other people because I liked them and I liked their policies. I should have paid more attention to what Trump was saying as far as how he was going to handle the economic strategies. Because honestly, this is too much at this fucking point. People can't afford that kind of price tag. And these companies are greedy too, because I just pointed out a game that can is easily making a ton of money. And it didn't take much to develop. But again, this is all just absolutely insane. So, anyway, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Let me know what your thoughts are below about Apple losing their lawsuit against Epic, about Apple products being how we're always vulnerable to these hacks, and let me know what you think about the tariffs and it affecting the game prices. You let me know in the comment section below your thoughts, questions, opinions. Until next time, this is AJ Timbs. This is the Merciful Doctor from Horror House Media, signing out. Get you one of these t-shirts and have a great day.